Ready to get this thing underway. There was a weather delay to start that kept the teams off of the field for warm-ups, but we are right on time. Emma Palkowski boots the ball down the middle of the field. Taylor Price trying to catch up to it.
And early on, we're seeing the importance of Mulholland. Really good to come off her line. Dangerous because you got a fast Taylor Price coming at you, but really good job there by Mulholland.
Now, we highlighted Natalie Mitchell to start the game, Blaine, but Taylor Price is certainly another name to watch out for because last year struggled with an injury that kept her off of the field for most of the year. Now, a healthy Taylor Price really means a lot for Virginia Tech.
When you look at her freshman season and the statistics she had that year, you get so excited for that second campaign, and to have it kind of not really go anywhere because of injury. Virginia Tech is super excited to have her back. And like I said, it takes that pressure off of Natalie Mitchell in the midfielder to have so much talent around you, especially with Taylor Price, who they came in together as freshmen.
Moving up to midfield, Eden Skyers. Here's Weir. Right back to her. Warren lost the ball. And one back by Skyers. Stealing the ball away from Leah Carter. The Hokies have a bit of space.
Really early on, you're seeing how well these two groups defend, right? It's hard to get offense going when you have good defensive groups like this. So might be a battle in the midfield tonight, Bailey.
As that one snatched away right back to the midfield. Marshall. Hokies inching closer to the attacking third, but it'll be a throw-in for the Greyhounds. And Joe Malia, the head coach of Loyola, Maryland, 13th overall season in his second trip to the Evergreen campus. He's also a head coach at Loyola Marymount and spent some time as an assistant at Tennessee, UCLA, and Navy.
Really interesting, and I like how you were able to throw in the other Loyola Marymount there.
Yeah.
I was seeing if you could get that tidbit in, but a coach who left and has come back and looking to get this group right again in his second stint.
4-3-3, right? 4-3-3. Liv, you don't need to chase out here, Liv.
Trading around between Marshall and George. Allie George, a player that has been at Virginia Tech for seemingly a decade, Blaine, and has moved around a little bit in her role for the Hokies.
She's one of those players that has gotten a lot of minutes, especially in the last few years, and you can just see the senior leadership when she plays. Very confident, very controlled, doesn't force things. Really kind of, while she's on the outside back there, really does vocally lead that group back there.
Out to the wing and a bit too much. Off of the foot of Mitchell going to Samantha de Guzman. There's Chugger Adair in his 14th season as the Virginia Tech head coach. And we talked about that with him the other day, Blaine. He's like, yeah, 19 overall. He was very clear to correct us on the fact he's been here almost 20 years. He was an assistant for a number of years before that, but heading up this program in Blacksburg for the last 14.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, you think 20 years is a long time to be anywhere. Not quite the 47 of Anson Dorrance, but Chugger is kind of a staple here in Blacksburg with this Virginia Tech group.
Polkowski back to Nelson. Stolen away. Carter. Taylor Price adding the pressure as Gallagher dishes the ball away.
Early on, you're seeing how both of these teams want to play. I think Virginia Tech can put a lot of pressure on Loyola and force them to become more direct, but right now both teams comfortable to play the ball on the ground, work through their midfield to see and create chances.
There's de Guzman, gave it to Mitchell. And Hokies not excited about that call. It'll be a throw-in for Loyola.
You got your striker and you're standing here.
And Chugger Adair already making sure the officials hear it early on in the first 5.5 minutes.
Not quite sure, but I think if a player's hovering over the ball, that's probably what the frustration was, that they couldn't even actively make a play towards the ball based on the way that she was situated. I'm sure she didn't enjoy feeling like she was being kicked the whole time either.
Lauren Hargrove in net for the Hokies. First time we've touched on her tonight. Senior from Richmond, Virginia, getting another start. Now Chugger Adair, and you say it's coach speak, Blaine, but he said that Mickey Easter has a possibility or a chance of coming in, but it's been Hargrove for the better part of this year.
Yeah, and I asked him, in that first game you see a 2-goalkeeper system. Is that something that we could expect to see, or are we settled on a goalkeeper for Virginia Tech? And he said, this is an open kind of thing. You could potentially see Mickey Easter, but I think it's a good problem for any program to have, that you have 2 goalkeepers that you can play that are at a high level. So, like I said, good problem for Virginia Tech to have, but Lauren Hargrove has been the starter for the last 2 games.
Good touch.
The last 3 games.
Here's de Guzman trying to find Mitchell. Got it back. And it'll roll out for a Hokie corner. So Natalie Mitchell very close there to her 2nd goal on the season. Eden Skyers taking the most corners for Virginia Tech. Watch out for her to try to score an Olympico here. She did it last year. Taken low for Taylor Price. And just off the head, wide left.
Really good opportunity there from Taylor Price. A good in-swinging ball from Eden Skyers, kind of at that level where it's got enough pace and speed that it makes it dangerous. And just a little bit of a misdirect there. But that entire sequence leading up to the corner kick is what Virginia Tech has really done better this season. That quick pace of play, 1-2 touch passing through the defense and creating chances on the run like that.
Well, Holland sends the ball in midfield. Right back to the boot of Pelkowski, but could this be a break for DeSmit here? Eden Skyers says no. And for George, eyeing across towards the 6. And snagged by Mulholland.
Another really good sequence from Virginia Tech. It doesn't look like a great opportunity at the end because the header goes straight up, but Allie George with the overlapping run, whips one in. This kind of just catches the top of Taylor Price, and it's an easy save from Mulholland. But again, Virginia Tech's quick passing, movement off the ball is creating chances back-to-back for the Hokies.
Good defending there by Zoe Willis. A solid pass, though, for Allie George. Virginia Tech knocking on the door the last 2 minutes. Rare slip for Natalie Mitchell. What a cut for de Guzman. Threads the ball up to Mitchell. And a yellow card is out, and it'll be a free kick for the Hokies.
And this is where I think Virginia Tech can continue to capitalize. When you put speed on the ball, Loyola Maryland is, sometimes they dive in a little bit, and this is an instance where diving in, you catch de Guzman and take her down for a foul and a yellow card. But I think Virginia Tech can take advantage of that with their pace of play and their speed on the ball.
So first yellow card of the match, and it goes to Neely Raw, the sophomore from Germany. And a chance here for the Hokies to make something happen on the set piece. A test for Mulholland. Mitchell towards the 6, almost leaked through.
I think those might be the ones that haunt your dreams at night. When you look back, you see Chugger Adair and Drew Kopp on the sideline with their hands on their knees and their head. This is a perfectly placed ball. It drops in that kind of no man's land defensively. Allie George with just a Just a touch there, and you're putting that in the back of the net, but a really good service from Mitchell. The overlapping run from de Guzman to kind of throw off the defense a little bit. A couple of good chances here back-to-back for Virginia Tech.
Now, almost 10 minutes elapsed in this one, and Virginia Tech has ceased to give up any sort of possession to the Greyhounds. Bailey DeSmit hasn't had a chance yet. Now Mason Nelson. Staying on side and aware. Bounces out, another Hokie corner.
You kind of touched on it a little bit, Bailey, but the keeping of possession, the decision-making on when to go forward and when to just pull the ball back and possess is, I think, what's helping Virginia Tech in these moments, not forcing anything unnecessarily, and it's creating more chances as a result.
Mitchell for the corner. Another corner. Hokies will reset. Well, trying to hop on early here after they were down to start out against Monmouth in that last game, and they had to come back in the second half to equalize. Kept on the ground. That will bounce out for a Greyhound throw-in.
I think in hindsight, that's a ball that Natalie Mitchell probably should have played to Eden Skyers. You've got Polkowski running in, but by the time that the ball was played, the defender had caught on to what was happening. So maybe not the best play design, but the idea was there.
Polkowski. Hokies won a handball, and I think, I was about to say, they looked like they were about to miss a call there. Whistle blows.
No, it came off him first.
You get another look at this.
Obviously not intentional, kind of a bounce, that inadvertent handball there. Obviously, Virginia Tech with all the rights in the world to be upset about that, but the referee was not turned watching the play, so unfortunately did not see it.
Yeah, so in your eyes, is that a missed call?
That's a missed call. Now, to be fair, I don't know what's going through their headsets either, because you've got your AR over here who could potentially say, hey, that's a handball, but I've never refereed, so I honestly don't know. But yeah, it's a missed call. It's not one of those, it's not in the box, right? It doesn't necessarily change the complexion of the game. It's not VAR worthy, but certainly one. If you're Virginia Tech, yeah, that's a free kick right outside the box.
Now, Hokies have scored on a free kick like that from Natalie Mitchell. That would certainly have been a scenario there where they would have tried it on net had that whistle blown the way of Virginia Tech. Warren in, headed pass to Price. De Guzman wants some help, finds it, Nally George. Can she find a head this time? Looped all the way back to the goalkeeper, and now the Greyhounds can breathe for just a moment.
You know, in talking with Chugger Adair, one of the things that he noted was the final third, being a little bit sharper in the final third. And I think these last few minutes have shown the creating of chances is not the problem. It's can they put it away when they get into that final third. So for this Virginia Tech team with so many chances back-to-back, can they be a little bit sharper as they go forward, potentially put this one in the back of the net?
Good touch by Weir. Here's Warren. Ball up for Weir. Corner kick. And no, it will be a goal kick. So it deflected back off of Weir. Get another look at this one, Blaine. This seems like a bit of a missed opportunity for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, you can kind of see her shape. She's literally just putting her foot back to catch it. So it's not a bad ball by Weir. Obviously, she's there at the end line, and she's doing everything she can to get it back. But a good call by the referee. There was an inadvertent deflection at the end of that to keep the ball with Loyola.
Riley Kennel doing a solid job on defense. So keeps this one at 0-0. Can the Greyhounds muster up any offense here? 14 minutes in, it's been all Virginia Tech. Skyers. Now Kylie Marshall picks out Allie George. Good defensive effort.
Really well done there by Loyola. As you can kind of see, Virginia Tech is keeping possession, but they weren't moving the ball forward, and Mitchell and Pelkowski were getting a little bit lost in the midfield. That's where Loyola needs to step in to intercept the ball, and that's exactly what they did. When they're closing down space and you can't find anything in the center of the field, that's when you turn them over and get the ball back in possession.
Zoe Willis. Towards the middle. Fought and won by Mitchell. Pelkowski with a bit of momentum for the Hokies now. Eden Skyers wanted the ball, didn't get the pass. Loyola wanted a whistle, throw in Hokies. Mulholland. So far, Virginia Tech loading up the corners. A couple of chances for the Hokies. 3 shots for Tech. Loyola has seldom gotten the ball over midfield. Chance for the Hokies. Here is de Guzman. Pulled back the right leg and let it go. Here's Weir. Eden Skyers over the crossbar.
Those are kind of the chances you take early in a game to test a goalkeeper. I don't think at this level you're hitting it from that distance with that speed on the ball, but not bad. Probably should have taken a touch and see if she could slot one back into those forwards that were running in. But again, you're trying to test the goalkeeper, see what the defense is doing. So not a bad opportunity there from Skyers, but one that she probably wants back.
I don't see a lot of shots from Eden Skyers. Ambitious chance there, but here comes Leah Carter. Speaking of ambition, Elizabeth Gallagher, one of those 2 goal scorers on the year for the Greyhounds. What a clearance up to Taylor Price. 2-on-2, Weir. Weir trying to draw a call. She will not get it. And Virginia Tech resets with Eden Skyers.
10 yards away instead of soft.
Comes to Guzman. Carter now for the Greyhounds.
Good decision there from George. Play it back in, settle the play, get yourself resituated. The ball's kind of just gone back and forth across the field a couple of times.
Meanwhile, waiting idly by at midfield, it's Loyola star DeSmit. She has really gotten a touch so far. Can they get the ball to her now off of the boot of Zoe Willis? Nice touch there, Weir. Looking for de Guzman, the sophomore. Bit of an errant pass, but Weir will catch up to it. Pelkowski now. Got some space, kept it on the ground. Taylor Price. Virginia Tech still aiming to poke through here. Can they do it off of a cross from George? And out for a corner. Now, Blaine, Virginia Tech's had a fair amount of chances here, but nothing that was really on goal. What exactly are the Greyhounds doing defensively to keep the Hokies out at this point?
Well, I think they're letting Virginia Tech kind of have their way in the outside of the field. You see Allie George consistently serving the ball, and it seems like she has the time and space to do it. So they're kind of letting Virginia Tech do that, and they're just being really sharp in the middle of the field and not letting that final pass and that final shot get off. And I think that's what they're doing well, is kind of letting what happens happen, but stifling the end part of the play.
The corner was kept close. De Guzman, off of the deflection, the ball leaks outside of the box for the Hokies. Mason Nelson lets it fly. And the ball's going to roll towards Rector Fieldhouse. The Hokies trying a few deep shots, one from Skyers and another from Nelson. Malone Kristen comes in. Terrazon jogs off for the Greyhounds.
I think for Virginia Tech, you've seen Loyola be able to kind of manage that aerial attack. Can you change how you serve the ball and make them defend you a little bit differently? Maybe don't serve it at all. Take it end line and on the dribble to see how they react, because when you're doing the same thing repetitively, it kind of becomes easy to defend. I think that that's what Virginia Tech needs to do a little bit sharper. Now you've got them exposed. How can you beat them in that final third?
Remember that part I said at the beginning of the broadcast where I hope the weather holds off? Shouldn't have said that. We're on to a lightning delay as the storms start to creep in here on the Blue Ridge Mountains. So 24:46 on the clock, tied up at 0-0. And as we get a moment to see these players take a bit of a rest here, for Virginia Tech, that's got to be a frustrating time for that whistle to blow, because the Hokies were really knocking on the door offensively.
Yeah, they were creating chances, like I said, getting out wide. And when we talked to Chugger, he said we think we can get some numbers out wide and service the balls in that way. But that final third, that last little piece of the offense is where it's lacking. And if you're Loyola, you're probably looking forward to the break a little bit, get a little bit of a reprieve, because
delay coming to an end. Still 0-0 between the Greyhounds and the Hokies as the Tech fans start to trickle back in here at Thompson Field. 0-0, Blaine, but Virginia Tech has really dominated this game offensively. They've had a fair amount of chances so far.
Yeah, 7 shots to 0 for Virginia Tech, and a lot of these chances have been really good and just not able to finish it in the final bit of the play in the final third. Anna Weir with a header that went wide here. This is probably the best chance of the day so far, dropped right in front of Allie George, and she just wasn't able to get a foot on it.
Yeah, Taylor Price turning around, trying to find some sort of space there. Got to give it to that Greyhound defense, though, against Virginia Tech's attack, because the Hokies have been knocking on the door the entire first half. Remind you, by the way, guys, 24:46 left to go before halftime, before the Lightning came back in and stopped this game. But as for Loyola, we talked about Bailey DeSmit. There hasn't been anything in the offense for Loyola Maryland.
Virginia Tech has done a really good job when they turn it over to get the ball back quickly. And I think Loyola just has to settle in when they have possession, prioritize keeping the ball, don't go direct so quickly, try and create opportunities with the ball at your feet instead of going so direct. And I think that will hopefully open the game up a little bit for them. But to your point, really haven't talked about Bailey DeSmit much tonight. 7
shots overall for Virginia Tech, none for the Greyhounds. Bit of a reset for you. Hokies 3-0-1 on the season, coming off of a draw against Monmouth that bounced them out of the rankings. They were at number 21 in the country. Loyola started out the year with a loss against Dayton. Second straight year they've lost to the Flyers, and then after that, a couple of wins in a row for this team, head coached by Joe Malia. So this team from the Patriot League trying to come back out of the lightning delay. Mulholland there in goal, has not given up a goal yet against the Hokies, standing strong against an attack that has not given up for Virginia Tech. So 24:46 left to go here in this first half. Got this game started at 7:06, took a break about half an hour, and we're ready to play some more soccer here at Thompson Field. Solid atmosphere. We had a decent crowd to start off this game before the lightning rolled in. And mind you, lightning but no rain. And no, don't want to jinx that, Blaine, but
Here we go again,
just
baby.
did it again. I
Here
just
we
did
go
it again. But at the same time, this crowd did not leave, especially the Hokie hooligans that have made their way here at Thompson Field. Now, some of the crowd has unfortunately gone home for this non-conference matchup, but a solid amount of the students still making their way to watch this Hokies women's soccer team. Here comes Gallagher and this team from Loyola, Maryland. Allie George made a solid effort. Almost won back by Gallagher. Good ball. And booted away. Neely Ross sliding in. Remember, she has a yellow card in this one.
Really good ball there. Good movement off the ball. You can kind of see Pelkowski pointing, telling de Guzman, make that run. And like you said, good defense from Ra.
DeSmit with a rare touch in this game and wins it. A little bit of space. Potential break. And Lauren Hargrove gets in on the action. Only the second time she's touched the ball. Nelson now has it for the Hokies.
You know, in a game that's 0-0 where really nothing came of those first 20-odd minutes, moments like this tell a little bit about the culture of your program. How quickly can you get back into the swing of things and get yourself situated?
Dangerous touch into the net, and Anna Weir was in a track meet against Mulholland to try to win that ball. But the goalkeeper from Fairport, New York, able to keep the ball in her grasp. Now, going off of that, Blaine, when you have a break like that, I mean, half an hour in a pretty tense first half, what exactly does that do for a team that has been sweating it out for almost 21 minutes and now have to come back out and resume the rest of the first half? Right.
For some programs, you know, in this moment, Loyola was kind of under fire a little bit, so it gives them a chance to reset. It's almost a halftime before a halftime, so it's a benefit to a team that maybe is kind of on the defense. For Virginia Tech, it's how quickly can you get back into the swing of things. And I kind of talked on the culture and who you are as a program, your ability to sit for 30 minutes, take 5 minutes to get your feet going under you, and then you got to get right back out there in a full-speed game.
Miscommunication there for the Hokies. Taylor Price wins the ball back, and here's Warren. There's Gallagher. For Wanta. To Willis. Here's Riley Kennel now. Smith was the target, and Hargrove ends up being the one with the ball.
Not a terrible idea there. I think possibly playing on the ground, see if you can get DeSmit to check into you to keep possession there, because now you're back on defense again, trying to reorganize. And for how many few opportunities Loyola has had, you want to keep the ball as much as possible. So forcing that over the top when you know DeSmit already has a target on her back, maybe not the best decision in that moment.
Eden Skyers wants the ball bad here on the wing. Pelkowski keeps the ball in the middle for Warren. Leah Carter. The speed of Skyers to get in her way at midfield. Free kick, Greyhounds.
It's a good recovery from Skyers here. She gets back on defense, and I think for the sake of the game you make that call. I don't know that it's the most egregious foul of all time, but it sets the tone coming out of a weather delay for the referee to control the game there a little bit.
Well, Skyers got the ball up. Foul called on Willis. Free kick Hokies.
He just told her. Yep, we see it.
Looks like Virginia Tech wants to check in a substitute for the first time in this game. Kylie Marshall making another start after missing all of last season. 5th start of the year for the sophomore.
When you look at that back line for Virginia Tech, and experience-wise, she's the least experienced of the 4, but she's done a really good job this season stepping in. Really, you don't see a drop-off in that position when you're losing someone like Victoria Haugen, who is so good for the Hokies in the last few years. She's done a really good job to keep that level high and the standard high in that center back position.
Now, this is a Virginia Tech team that has a lot of experience. When you see some of these names out there, and you kept up with this program over the last few years, Pelkowski, Allie George, Natalie Mitchell into her junior season, Taylor Price. Now, there is a lot of experience on this Virginia Tech side.
I think the difference between this year and last year, because there was a lot of returning talent, is healthy returning talent, right? Taylor Price being a returner with experience means nothing when she's hampered with injuries, right? Tori Powell last year being a senior, not being able to play because of injury. Now you've got inexperience, so you have a group of players, and you see it here, 11 seniors, a lot of them getting playing time. It changes the complexion of your program, especially when they actually can play and they can compete. And you're seeing that with the opportunities that are being created on the field.
There's one of the upperclassmen there in Mitchell. Sarah Rosenbaum in, the transfer from Wisconsin. Allie George down the wing. Throw in Hokies. We're seeing Loyola a little bit more competitive here than they were before the lightning delay. Hokies haven't been able to muster up a shot in the last 7 minutes.
You know, we kind of talked about it, that you almost have a halftime before a halftime, and I think Loyola used that as an opportunity to say, here's where Virginia Tech is breaking us down, and they haven't been able to do that in these last 10 minutes since coming back.
Be a chance here. Elizabeth Gallagher has other plans for Loyola. Head full of steam for Tech. Price has options. De Guzman from long range.
Stop.
And just wide right. Ambitious effort for the Hokies, and the sophomore let it fly. It'll be a goal kick for the Greyhounds. Let's see how close this one was, Blaine.
Good turn from Price there. I don't think this is a bad shot. I know De Guzman can good pace behind the ball. It's a little bit off target, but that's probably not as ambitious as the shots from Eden Skyers and Mason Nelson earlier in the game. I think that one is one that, when the ball is being played in the middle of the field so much, it kind of, again, tests the goalkeeper, make sure everybody's awake defensively.
Skyers again, another shot for the Hokies. 8th shot of this game for Virginia Tech. Loyola still looking for its first. Rosenbaum now. Into the 6 for Taylor Price. Now Taylor Price, we talked about it before that lightning delay, Blaine, but she makes this Virginia Tech team a lot more dangerous with her healthy and in the lineup, and that was very close to being a 1-0 lead for the Hokies.
Oh, you gotta, that's a lefty. Put the foot out and let it just hit your foot. She's coming in with that weird, awkward right foot. She's running into it. All she has to do is put her foot down there. But to your point, she's one of those players that's crafty with the ball at her feet. She moves really well off the ball. She creates chances for other people. She's smart with the ball at her feet. So she's one that Virginia Tech is very happy to have back and healthy.
Long pass for Price. Mitchell. Collision and no whistle. Loyola maintains possession. Now to the back line. Here comes Pelkowski off with a favorable bounce. Natalie Mitchell now with a left foot off of the deflection, and Mulholland is there.
I like to imagine when I'm up here and I can see the play developing that the players on the field just can't see what we're seeing, so obviously they're making the decisions based off of that. But Rosenbaum was slipping in right into a seam, and if Mitchell just plays that ball on the ground, Rosenbaum's 1v1 with the goalkeeper. Those are instances where you got to scream at your teammate to play the ball in.
Well, the Hokies have been able to win the ball back very quickly off of these spurts of possession for Loyola. Here's Ra. Decided the safest bet was to go back to Mulholland, the goalkeeper. Kendall D'Amelio in. She scored in the last game for Virginia Tech. 13.5 minutes before halftime. Officials letting the play tangled up still, and no whistle. Back line checks in for Tech, Nelson. Was she onside? Quick answer to that question.
You didn't see my hand go up as soon as I saw her run. Good job by the Loyola defense there. I believe it was Ross stepping up when she saw Rosenbaum start pulling away. Just let her go. Eden Skyers takes probably a little bit too long to play this ball, and by the time it leaves her foot, Rosenbaum's about a foot off sides.
Elizabeth Gallagher decleated, and a clean tackle. Space for the Hokies. Valente now has options in the box. And it goes beyond the goal. Here comes a goal kick. We have more fresh legs checking in for the Hokies. Taylor Lewin. And Taylor Price will get a break. Pretty productive first half for Price. And it just seems like, Blaine, with the tone of this game and just how it's shaped out, it seems like Virginia Tech is winning. And obviously, we're watching this still 0-0. This has been a solid matchup so far that it seems like Loyola really hasn't had a solid chance to score, though.
They really haven't threatened, honestly, beyond probably the midway point between the half and the 18 for Virginia Tech. But to your point, there's been so many chances that you just kind of go, oh, we're right there if you're Virginia Tech, and they just can't put it away. But that's credit to Loyola. They've weathered the storm. I don't want to say that out loud because who knows what I'll summon, but literally and figuratively, they've weathered the storm.
It's gonna look like those storms in the movie Twisters just because you said that. On to D'Amelio. Have you seen that, by the way?
I have not.
Oh, man.
I go to work every day, Bailey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
I have a big girl job, Bailey.
We all do. We all have big girl jobs.
I'm messing with you. No, I have not, but I have heard music from the film.
They're very good.
That has hit my TikTok timeline.
Tangled up. Lewin wants a call, and it won't go the way of the Hokies. It'll be a free kick, and the frustration kind of a mounting there for Loyola.
This is, as this plays out, you'll see clear and obvious. Lewin just hooks and just pulls her down with her. That's a clear foul. Good call from the referee there.
So the call benefits Quaranta. Here's Emma Palkowski. I've seen some long distance shots from Virginia Tech, Blaine. Is that because of the fact that maybe they're getting a little frustrated, nothing's working inside, or was that just a decent look there?
No, decision-making wise, I don't know that that was the best decision from Palkowski, and you could see her actually yelling across the field to Chugger Adair. They were exchanging words that I don't know, but based on facial expressions, I would assume it wasn't a positive, hey, good chance there. And I don't know if it's a frustration thing and doesn't feel like anything else is working, or just I have a little bit of space, I'm close enough to the goal, let me take this chance. But probably not the best decision when you have numbers going forward in that instance.
The ball by Skyers. D'Amelio Rosenbaum. What a defensive effort for Ra there. Slides into the corner. And a corner kick for the Hokies. Look at Neely Ra sliding in for Virginia Tech.
And I don't know that necessarily that ball could have been played much quicker, but you could see Rob pick up immediately that Rosenbaum was cutting in. By the time the ball was played, she was able to step in and defend that pretty easily.
Another corner coming up empty for Virginia Tech, the 5th one of the night. A little over 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Back to the senior from Louisville, Kentucky. Intercepted for a moment, Hokies ball.
Come on, guys, get underneath.
Skyers. Kylie Marshall. On the ground. Developed to fruition on that possession for the Hokies. DeSmits is still waiting for her moment for Loyola. Lewin.
In these last few minutes, and I think as the legs start to go a little bit in the tail end of this half, Virginia Tech's movement has halted a little bit. And so what you're seeing is Eden Skyers is getting the ball, and Mitchell, D'Amelio, they're all in a line with each other. So all she sees is truly one player when you've actually got 2 to 3 players standing there. So the movement has to be a little bit better off the ball, and that'll open and pull Loyola players away, because it's easy to defend when you're standing in a line. And in watching this, that's where things are getting a little bit clogged up for Virginia Tech, and why they can't move forward as much as they'd like to, because they're all kind of defending each other almost.
Hokies throw in. Valente. And see what Tech does here.
Stop.
And Virginia Tech wants to sub in before this play.
Checking in the game for Loyola, number 17, Francesca Cacciatorians. And checking in the game for
Sioka running in, as well as Cacciatorians for Loyola.
And Bailey, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first minutes for Sioka of her collegiate career.
It could be a big moment here for the Hokies to try to get in the net. D'Amelio. Off the left foot, and just pushed wide. It'll be a goal kick. Valente there. Almost making it 1-0 for Virginia Tech.
And this all comes from a really quick turn and cross from D'Amelio. First time opportunity. I mean, we're talking inches there, Bailey. That's inches for Valente.
Yeah, one of the best efforts of the night for the Hokies. Valente trying to recharge with another. Under 5 minutes to play in this first half. It's been all Virginia Tech on the offensive end, but no results. Lewin with a tackle, throw in Loyola. ball up into the box, threatening, and Mulholland able to jump onto the ball to keep this one at a clean sheet so far.
Another good effort there from Bridget Mulholland. She's really quick off her line. She doesn't wait and see how the play develops. When she makes that decision to go, she goes and grabs it, and she's been able to clean up some messes for that defense a few times tonight.
Yeah, really interesting about her. Only had played in one game last year and now is the primary starter at the goalkeeper position. A big game against Virginia Tech on the road.
When you look at her statistics, when you look at goals, and not to say that PKs don't count against goalkeepers, but when you have 2 goals against and one's a PK,
right.
Goals against average, they're truly not too bad. And then obviously coming off of 2 shutouts, she's done a great job. She had a huge save at the end of the Longwood game to keep that game as a win. And like I said, she makes decisions. She's very decisive to go and get the ball, and I think she cleans up a lot for this Loyola defense.
Valente. They test Mulholland again here. Good tackle. Throw in Hokies. Great effort by Ella Moss. Towards net for Lewin. That just flopped right on top of the net. Another long chance for the Hokies. And it'll be a goal kick.
Again, I think Virginia Tech's doing a really good job to get the ball back. Strong defensive efforts. And then from Pelkowski, I don't know if this was supposed to be a cross and it ended up becoming a Schross, but that's really ambitious from that distance. You've got to hit it almost perfectly to get a ball in the net from that angle and that distance. So I know as the half wears on, you kind of start to lose thought and consciousness sometimes, but can you keep the ball? Can you be possessive, go forward and do the things that have broken down the Loyola defense as of the rest of this game?
Nelson with a bit of space. Tight window to thread that ball. Lewin. Valente with a chance to cross. Dribbles in. Headed away. Loose in front again. D'Amelio. Goal kick. We talked about it at the beginning of this game. We were going to see a diversity of an attack for Virginia Tech, and it seems like everybody's checking in for the Hokies with a shot here. Another one from D'Amelio, but we've seen it from almost the entire side for Virginia Tech tonight.
Everybody from the midfield forward, and honestly even defensively, they've had some chances from Skyers and Wilson. Yeah, we touched on it. There's so much diversity in the ability, and it's not all the same style of play. Every chance has come from something different being created, whether it's from distance, a ball crossed in on the ground, whatever it may be. Now the difference here is, can Virginia Tech put one away? And I think from there you'll see more opportunities be created.
Loyola had a rare amount of space there. 30 seconds left. The ball down to Kennel. Pelkowski. Hokies have a bit of time here for potentially one more shot. Have to move now with 12 seconds. Valente blast towards Lewin. And that is going to be it for the first half. So there's another break. We had a lightning delay and now the scheduled programming of halftime. But a first half with Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech will start out with possession, 14 shots to none. Taylor Price, the junior who was sidelined for so much of last year, healthy in her junior season, and back out here for the second half. We talked about it with Chugger a few days ago, right before this game. Can the Hokies finish? That's something that they're struggling with. We saw it in the last game. Had to come out and tie 1-1 against Monmouth. And so far here today, not a lot of quality shots for the Hokies, but 14 shots in total.
And you know, Bailey, you wonder what's more frustrating. Is it to have an abundance of chances and to not finish, or to have limited chances and not finish those limited chances? Because obviously the result is the same, but I think it's more frustrating tonight where you have so many opportunities to be dangerous and then just can't quite get on the tail end and finish the playoff.
There's DeSmit. Just needs a break for Loyola. Coming off a season where she scored 10 goals and had 8 assists, which is a single season program record for the Greyhounds. But tonight has been quiet against this ACC team.
And for her, really, if you look at that George Washington game, it was kind of a really quick throw in. The ball kind of bounced with a direct ball, and it was kind of bouncing around, and she just maneuvered her way, and 1-2 touches, and she's shooting it from distance top in. So she doesn't need a lot of space and too many opportunities to be dangerous. She just needs the ball at her feet.
Wants the ball now and deflected off of Pelkowski. Midfielder who doesn't take a lot of time off for Virginia Tech, now has space. Mitchell, de Guzman, long touch, and a corner kick coming for the Hokies.
And we've said the last name Ra a lot tonight, but number 9 for Loyola has been such a staple of the defense and a lot of the reason that Virginia Tech hasn't been successful offensively. Anytime they get forward, you see number 9 coming in with a slide tackle, a touch, a poke, a little bit of a nudge to get a player off the ball. A lot of credit to her.
So D'Amelio now in for the second half, staying on for the Hokies. Has options here. Towards net. Once ahead. Rosenbaum. And it bounces wide.
Good service in here. And with the ball dropping in like that, to get as much power as she did, credit to Rosenbaum, but just a little bit wide there and overall not as dangerous as it probably looked.
Throw in Loyola. Rosenbaum. Perwanta. One back by Mitchell. Rosenbaum now. D'Amelio. Sliding the ball up for Rosenbaum. And it will be a goal kick. It looked like when that possession started, Blaine, the Hokies had a bit more promise and it squandered there.
And I think it was actually a good decision there by Rosenbaum not to take that shot. I think a little bit had to do with the closing speed of Loyola. But that's what you have to do as a player, is decide, is it a smart decision to force this ball or to pull it back, sustain possession. And again, Loyola, give them credit defensively. They've done everything they need to do tonight to keep Virginia Tech off the board, and that was another instance of that.
Dangerous move. Here comes Taylor Price off the deflection. Hokies will stay on this side for a corner kick.
One of the things that Loyola will do defensively, especially with speed, is that they tend to stab a little bit. They'll dive in, and you see that here. Really good turn there from Taylor Price as she goes in a step And the deflection there, but that's where I think Virginia Tech can be a little bit more dangerous. Maybe not as much service, but 1v1 to see if you can get Loyola to step and stab and dive for the ball and create chances on the dribble.
Corner was kept short. Off the head. Here's George. And sent back to midfield, so yet another corner coming up empty for Tech. DeSmit stomping in at midfield, but can't win the ball back for the Greyhounds.
And I think we really haven't said much tonight. I know Warren, and a player that Chugger Adair gave a ton of credit to, really praises her. And with her being back healthy, he's super excited for Virginia Tech having her on the field.
Mitchell lost possession, one back. The Guzman tries outside at Emilio. The cross out towards the 6, Taylor Price. Oh, that was the best look for Taylor Price tonight. And she wanted a foul. She had hit the deck before that, Blaine.
Well, I almost wonder how much sharper the finish would have been, because she does get shoved in the back here. Ball hits off the crossbar, a one-touch pass back in from Warren, and Price is almost still getting up after complaining to the referee of how the heck did I get on the ground, and she's a little bit off-footed, but to your point, a really good chance for Virginia Tech there, and probably their most dangerous one. And D'Amelio really frustrated that one of these has not yet gone in.
Free kick. Now you're seeing a bit of frustration for the Hokies. Yet another shot. There have been 4 shots already in the second half.
And much like the weather delay, when things aren't quite going your way, how do you respond? What is the culture and the nature of your team when you're frustrated because you can't finish the ball? You've had 100 opportunities and nothing has come of it. This is how you define your team, because it matters as the season goes on.
Trying to win the race to the ball. Virginia Tech will maintain possession here. Steven trying to have some moments of promise for Loyola. Here comes Taylor Price. It's a foot race for Price. Needs some help, wants a call, and it will be a corner kick.
And I think Taylor Price does have an argument there with a little bit of the jersey pull. But Zoe Willis, well done to get her body into, I think it kind of goes back and forth there with the jersey pull. I think they're both kind of tough. You know, that angle might change my opinion a little bit of it, but I don't know that the AR can see it from that angle either. Otherwise, really good defensive effort there from Willis.
Quick corner for the Hokies. Rosenbaum, the target. Comes Warren in. Getting her minutes back up in her final year in Blacksburg. Dealt with injuries, and Coach Chugger Adair talked about the fact that, you know, last year when she came back in, could never really get back in shape, and now for her final year, this senior year, back in shape for the Hokies and rarely going to leave the pitch.
And she's one of those players that doesn't necessarily jump off the page athletically or doesn't have blazing speed. She's just kind of there and always doing what needs to be done for Virginia Tech, and he really did praise her in our call the other day, how important her return has been.
Guzman keeps it low. Going on to the end of the pass for Virginia Tech, a long header to Guzman. Here's Mitchell. Just poked forward by the defense of Loyola. DeSmit in a tangle with Mason Nelson. Free kick, Virginia Tech.
I really appreciate how level-headed the response was from the referee, and then the pan to DeSmit, who's irate with the anger with the call.
Rosenbaum, far post. D'Amelio down to Pelkowski. Head full of steam for Pelkowski, and that's about the third long-range shot we've seen out of the senior midfielder for Tech.
Go ahead, you can move it.
I think that that's a culmination of just nothing's working right now. And that, well, I'll take it myself and take a shot here. But again, when you're playing against top-level goalkeepers, that's a really ambitious shot from that distance, especially when you're off balance and it's sailing a little bit.
Merzugi checks on for Ella Moss for Loyola, so trying to get some fresh legs in for the Greyhounds. Samantha de Guzman, energy building for Virginia Tech. Here comes DeSmit. Instead, it's the keeper that is slotted here into the second half, Easter. Eleven and a half minutes elapsed here. The second half still 0-0. You know, a lot of soccer left to be played, Blaine, but if you're Loyola here, 33 minutes, like I said, but if you're Loyola here, are you happy with the result in walking out of this one in potentially 0-0?
Anytime you can get a result against an ACC opponent or powerful opponent or whatever it may be, you're certainly happy, especially with the way that the game has gone a little bit from an opportunity standpoint. If you leave here 0-0 after you spent 90 minutes defending, I think you're pleased with it. If you're Virginia Tech, you're banging your head against the wall with frustration. But as we've seen, Loyola has now had a couple opportunities going forward. I don't know that they've been overly dangerous, but with the way Virginia Tech is putting numbers forward, that's an opportunity for a counterattack if Loyola is prepared and ready for it.
Comes D'Amelio working. It passes back for Nelson. Move forward on the touch line, and a lot of Hokies just throwing their arms up there. It'll be a goal kick. Anna Weir coming back in. Taylor Price will get a break.
Good minutes there from Taylor Price. Created a couple of opportunities, potentially a PK that didn't get called.
Yeah, all set, all set.
De Guzman. Chipped forward and off-target pass for the senior.
And immediately Allie George puts her hand up and says, my bad, because that was not a good pass. That's a ball you got to keep. You have an opportunity to go on a counterattack there.
So as the senior retreats back to defense, a free kick coming for Loyola. Throw in Hokies. There's Corman. Pressure of the attack by Rosenbaum keeps the ball for Virginia Tech. Off of the right foot. Here's Weir. Weir wants a call. No whistle. Much to the chagrin of Virginia Tech. Wanted a potential PK. Officials letting the two teams play now.
I imagine we'll get an opportunity to see that again. In live action, it looked like it could have been all ball, but with the reaction from everybody else on the field, I'm not necessarily sure that Yeah, that's... I think if you're Virginia Tech, you have some grounds to be frustrated and to throw the arms up a little bit. There's been a couple of calls that have kind of gone back and forth. The referee has done a good job to let it play.
So now, potential review here. And this is a huge break in the game. He looked at it for about a second. And Virginia Tech, specifically Weir, is absolutely distraught after that. You know what, I give it to her, actually not distraught, but a little bit surprised. Especially with how quick that review was.
I think that's the frustrating part if you're Virginia Tech, is how almost pointless it was to have VAR in that moment, or a review system in that moment, because you have the chance as a referee to get it right. And you get it wrong twice. And for Virginia Tech, you have every right to be frustrated and to be angry. Things are not going your way, and then you have an opportunity to put a ball in the back of the net and your legs are taken out from you inside the box. So frustrating moments for Virginia Tech, but now it's how do you respond? You have 28 minutes to put a goal in the net, and for Loyola, keep defending well.
Kept on the ground, Mitchell almost won it back. Solid defense there by Ra. Here's Weir, wide open. Oh, such a good pass, no finish. D'Amelio almost had her second goal of the year. And we're seeing here, we saw in the first half, Blaine, where some Virginia Tech had some good looks, not great. They have had a few great looks so far here in the second half.
Every time that plays like that happen where, you're inches off for Virginia Tech, I look over to the sideline and I just see hands on heads. It's what a surrender cobra going on that bench, because it's almost comical at this point how many opportunities have been so close for Virginia Tech. You're knocking on there. D'Amelio standing alone on the 6-yard box and misses by 6 inches to the post. So for Virginia Tech, I think it almost turns from frustration to humor at some point, because it is almost, how is this possible? 20 shots to 0, and not one of them has gone in the back of the net is a pretty alarming statistic. And I think it goes to what Chugger was talking about on the call the other day of, we've got to be sharper in that final third when speaking about his team. And I think this shows it, yeah.
And interesting how many people have had different shots. We have not seen Sophie Maltese off of the bench tonight.
Yeah, and I honestly caught a couple of minutes ago, Eden Skyers is also off. So I think for Virginia Tech, they're throwing in a couple of different formations and player styles to see if they can put one in the back of the net here, realizing that it's a much more offensive than defensive game. But to your point, Sophie Maltese getting a lot of minutes in the last few games, and to not see or hear her name has been pretty interesting. So potential injury or something like that, keeping her sidelined.
Now to the back line. DeSmit had the ball for a second, and if you're Loyola here, you have to be absolutely gassed at this point. Like you said earlier, they've played most of this game, I would say probably 90% of the game on defense so far.
Right, but I think the same thing can be said for Virginia Tech, because they're running around ragged, creating opportunities, chasing down balls, whipping balls in. So it's a different level of exhaustion for both teams. Virginia Tech's probably covering more miles. Loyola's just kind of wearing and weathering a storm a little bit. I'm seeing how many times I can say weather the storm tonight. I think I'm up to 3.
There's Mitchell. Smith turned around, trying to find space, and Mason Nelson carves the ball back for Virginia Tech for only a moment. Only 6 minutes left. The bounce for the Hokies for a moment, a collision between Ra and Rosenbaum.
When you see her when you see her take that touch, drop and protect the center too.
You said it earlier, Neely Ra, she does have a yellow card in this game on an effort she made against the Hokies to Guzman, but she's a big part of this, the reason why this game is still knotted up at 0-0 as well.
Truly, every defensive play, I don't know how she does it, but she's always involved, and she's been so sound defensively. Really good job keeping that back line tight, not allowing Virginia Tech to put one of these opportunities away, and she's really been a standout for Loyola and probably my MVP when you look at that side of the field for them.
Quick throw in for the Hokies. Virginia Tech wants to make a substitution, and Valente comes back in. If you remember, she had a good shot that rolled just wide of the net at the end of the first half, and de Guzman will get a break. And we talked about Maltese. She's ready to come in as well for the first time in this game, the senior. Maltese looking for her first points of the season. And it worked out for a corner for the Hokies.
Good minutes there from de Guzman and Rosenbaum both put in a pretty solid shift, and now you have an opportunity to get some fresh legs in and potentially put one of these away.
Bounced low, returned out for another corner. As a dog chases that ball, the Hokies won't waste any more time with a quick corner. Goal kick, so a gift for Loyola, Maryland.
You can go.
Stephen coming in and Carter out. Just now joining us, Hokies have not let Loyola register a shot in this game. But to their credit, the Greyhounds have not let the Hokies get in the back of the net. Still 0-0. Kylie Marshall to Pelkowski. Pelkowski. Comes Valente. Decent ball. Corner kick. So 22.5 minutes for Virginia Tech. These are the types of games early on in the season Hokies would love to have a result, trying to build that NCAA tournament resume at the end of the year. 11 corner kicks for Tech. Valente! And it bounces off of Ra, another corner.
To your point, Bailey, not necessarily want to have this result, need to have this result. These are games, non-conference games, that you really can't drop if you're Virginia Tech. You have to walk out of here with a result, because when that tournament time comes around, 0-0 doesn't get you much from the committee.
Check your shoulders! Check your
Here comes Weir. Off the deflection. Emilio. Defense still hanging tough. Who else but Ra? Check that, that's Merzugi actually, who's been solid in this game as well. Goal kick.
A little bit of frustration there from Anna Weir. Some extracurriculars after the play. And this is, again, when moments that define your program, things aren't quite going your way. Now 0-0 is a result nonetheless, but lots of opportunities, nothing being put into the back of the net. How do you keep your composure? How do you remain level-headed and let the game continue to go in moments of high stress and potentially some panic?
Bailey DeSmit checks out. So the Patriot League reigning Offensive Player of the Year. Cacciatorian's in. Hokies thinking, well, something has to give here. Instead, it's Gallagher.
Go back with it. Go back with it. Liz, play a simple ball backwards.
Spreading the ball out for Wanzer. George. Maltese had a bit of room, long touch, lost the ball. Olkowski steps in for Tech. Free kick.
I think for Maltese, this is one of those instances you don't realize how open you are, and you feel like you have to go and play so quickly. And this is one where Pelkowski obviously gets tangled up there. Clear foul. Good call from the referee.
Marshall will take this for Virginia Tech. Who will the Hokies aim for on this? Pelkowski. Good ball to Warden. Lofted towards net. Off the deflection, Valente! Mulholland right there.
And who else? But Ra.
Could have been a bad roll for Loyola, but instead it stays at 0-0. Valente.
And almost an own goal here from Loyola, which would almost be even more comical that the goal that does come for Virginia Tech comes from a player on the other team.
Go ahead. You can go get her. You can go.
But I think what Virginia Tech is doing a little bit too much now is going really central. And where they were dangerous in the first half was using the width to spread Loyola. Valente started to kind of trickle in and closes the space when she does that. It makes it easy for Loyola to defend. Can they pull out a little bit, do what they did in the first half to spread the defense? And that's how they created so many chances from out wide in the first half.
Now one for Loyola. Cacciatorians. Space for the Hokies. Weir. Up against Ra. Cutting inside for Weir. Turned around. It's saved. Maltese almost had her first goal of the year. That would have put the Hokies up 1-0. And Mulholland keeps it at scoreless here at Thompson Field.
All in one breath, you see Ra, the tank finally empty. She can't catch up here. Weir puts a great ball slotted back. Maltese with a good shot. And Mulholland with a great reaction save to keep that ball out of the net.
Weir. On the ground, it's almost chipped in and ricochets home. Allie George with her first goal in 2 years puts the Hokies up 1-0. The levee finally breaking for just a moment for Virginia Tech, and it's the senior who finds the net.
Natalie Mitchell, great job taking this in line. 1v1, slides the ball back, puts it in that danger zone. And technically, that does come off of the face of a Loyola player, but Allie George, 9 goals, 9 different players for Virginia Tech. And I told you it wasn't going to be a forward, a midfield, or a defender. It could be any of them. And in this instance, a defender steps up and puts the ball in the back of the net.
So, for better for worse, Neely Ra has been in on every defensive play tonight, and she was the unfortunate one there. It goes off of her head and gets past the goalkeeper, Mulholland. And now it's going to be a deep throw-in. So for Loyola, they did not waste any time to get right back in. Mickey Easter had to slide the ball away. That was Merzugi.
Yeah, not a great ball passed back from Ina Warren. I don't think it's a bad ball to play it to the goalkeeper there, but it's got to be with a little bit more pace. And Loyola now has to step up and put pressure on Virginia Tech if they want to get a goal. And you see that with Merzugi standing right there. Good job from Easter to come out, get a foot on the ball, and not allow that to be any more dangerous than it already was.
Trying on Easter. So 23 shots to none. One of them finally going for Virginia Tech. How about that for Allie George all of last year? Didn't log an offensive stat. Here we go. More for Virginia Tech potentially. And Mulholland right there saves another shot.
And I don't think that's a bad opportunity from Anna Weir. She did a good job to get past the defender, but has Valente and Maltese flanking her and potentially a slipped ball in. You've got 1v1 with the goalkeeper versus having to beat a defender.
One back for Tech. And a misconnection. We're the target. De Guzman couldn't thread the ball to the Hokies forward. Pelkowski now. Comes Valente.
Check the shoulders.
An open George. Searching for the head of Maltese. Reset with Pelkowski.
Check your shoulders. And then find a mark.
Another ball in. And to the back of Virginia Tech attack with Marshall.
Good decision there from Pelkowski. Pull it back, establish possession, allow players to get back in position.
Malia, yep. Going an ace. Okay, Malia.
Maltese. Senior connection. Allie George, Maltese. Off of the deflection will be another corner for the Hokies.
That's a really good ball from Allie George, and it may not seem like it based on how that play finished, but when it's at that weird height where you don't know if you should head it or you should stomach it or kneel it, it makes it tough for defenders to defend it as you see it kind of drops in there right in that 6 area. So it's a really good ball, good height level on the cross there.
So a new flurry of Hokies in. Eden Skyer's one of them. She will take this corner. Taylor Price and Sarah Rosenbaum join her as Weir, D'Amelio, and Maltese trot off. Ella Moss in for the Greyhounds as well. Long anticipation, 13 minutes left, another corner for the Hokies. Pelkowski sends it on a ride, and it bounces out to the fence. So it'll stay 1-0. Loyola not out of this yet, but you can just feel in this game, 13 corner kicks, over 20 shots for Virginia Tech. Loyola has not mustered one. Can they sneak something by this Virginia Tech defense that has been so keen at getting the ball back quickly for the Hokies?
But these are the instances where you're still pushing forward, you've gotten the goal, the game changes a little bit. You catch yourself on your heels because you haven't had to do much defensively tonight. That's how you have to close this out if you're Virginia Tech. Can't get caught on your heels, can't get caught in a counterattack opportunity where DeSmit goes 1v1 off of a quick throw-in or something like that.
Rosenbaum stayed on side. Off the right. Quality effort for the Hokies. That was Taylor Price. So by the way, what we talked about earlier at the beginning of this broadcast, as Taylor Price had a solid effort on that, but 9 goals on the season for Tech, 9 different goal scorers.
And I think that speaks to, again, the healthiness of your forwards, your midfielders, players who were key for you over the span of a few years who are now all playing together healthy. We kind of talked about it there, opportunity, a little half chance for DeSmit. Those are the kind that you can get caught with if you're Virginia Tech. But back to the point of just so many different players who can step up night in and night out. And when you go into that ACC play where we talked about the level of competition within the league, having players who can step up, and it's not always Natalie Mitchell, it's not always Taylor Price, it makes it hard to defend you too if you're an opponent.
Slotted up for Rosenbaum. Gonna try to sneak a corner in for the Hokies. No foul. Comes to Guzman. Goal kick.
Sub.
And a sub coming in for the Greyhounds.
That's a nifty little play from Rosenbaum down there in the corner. Everything I think about the fouls that I've seen, I'm not really correct on, or I don't feel like I've been correct, so I won't comment on that one, but some frustration as she ended up with the ground at the end of that play. Who knows what that would have turned into, but creative little turn there to get out of pressure.
Yeah, there hasn't been that many times with the whistle blown in this matchup. I mean, we saw one time with VAR, and it was such a quick review. This game has played on. Taylor Price, the gimpy to go back into the middle of the attack there for Virginia Tech.
Caught knee to knee, almost moving forward while your knee's still behind you. Looks like she's trying to run it off a little bit. Let's hope that's all it is. It's just a little bit of a uncomfortable moment more than anything.
Skyers nicks the side of the net, and a sub coming on for the Hokies. So Taylor Price, who dealt with so many injuries, or dealt with some injuries last year, kept her out.
And she grabs her knee. You wonder if it's almost an ankle too. Looks like they both kind of locked knees and did a little bit of pirouette there. She seems to be running okay at this moment.
Natalie Mitchell back in. Allie George, the game's lone goal scorer. Eight and a half minutes. Lone goal in the 74th minute for Allie George, her first goal of the 2024 season. Kept in play, Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum still trying to find far post and sends it out for a throw-in for Loyola, Maryland. And how about this, Blaine? Going into a weather delay with 8 minutes and 1 second left.
We didn't weather the storm.
No. 28 shots to none. And it looks like for the final 8 minutes, we'll have to wait a little bit longer to finish out this game. So this does put an interesting spin on things, though, because you get a break, you get another break if you're Loyola. To try to come back, you get some more time to draw up something to try to find the equalizer. Do you think this favors Loyola more than it does Virginia Tech?
I would say if the game was a little bit more even offensively, probably. The number of chances that Loyola has had going forward pushes me to say no a little bit more. Now, to that point, they could go out at halftime and say, we're going to throw all these numbers forward, we're going to do one defense. You know, they could come, sorry, not halftime of this weather break. I don't know, but I think it's really important for both of these teams to use this time. For Virginia Tech, it's to close out this game. For Loyola, we have 8 minutes to get a result here.
So we'll take another break. Just in, this game has officially been called. More weather in the area, and the game, per NCAA rules, could not be restarted tonight 3 hours after kickoff time. So it's decided, it has been called, and Virginia Tech picks up the victory 1-0 off of the game-winning goal of Allie